Oyagala okumanya ebiriwo, ebyaliwo, oba ebigenda okubaawo. Program Tambula n'okumanya eggose. Tambula n'okumanya ku MRU TV ne Royal FM. Tambula n'okumanya. Tambula n'okumanya. Tambula n'okumanya.
In today's Tambula Nokumanya, we've brought you Libya as a country. Libya is located in North Africa and most of the country lies in the Sahara Desert and much of its population is concentrated along the coast and its immediate hinterland, where Tripoli, the de facto capital, and Benghazi, another major city. Libya comprises of 3 historical regions and they include Tripolitania in the northwest, Cyrenaica in the east, and Fezzan in the southwest. The Ottoman authorities recognized them as a separate provinces. Under Italian rule, and failed to form a single colony, which gave away Tripolitania and Cyrenaica were more closely linked with the neighboring territories than with one another. Libya's climate is dominated by the hot arid Sahara, but it's moderate along the coast, littoral by the Mediterranean Sea. The Sahara influence is stronger in summer from October to March. Prevailing westerly winds bring cyclonic storms and rains across northern Libya. Almost all Libyans speak Arabic as the official language. They claim descent from the Bedouin Arab tribes of the Banu Hilal and the Banu Sulaim, who are said to have invaded in the Maghreb in the 11th century. The government embrace of Arab nationalism has reduced Western influence, although English is still widely used as a second language in international business and politics. At the beginning of the 21st century, Libya's population included the substantial number of foreign migrant workers, largely from sub-Saharan African countries, territorially residing in the country. A form of social organization that allowed the grouping of nomadic peoples scattered across the country's vast space was the foundation of social order for much of Libya's history. Most Libyans are Muslim and the vast majority are Sunnis. There are also very small minorities of Roman Catholics and Orthodox Christians. Although a Jewish majority was long established in the Tripolitania, most Jews left the country in the late 1960s, many of them migrating to Italy. The majority of the population lives in Tripolitania, mainly Tripoli and other cities along the coast and on the Nafusa Plateau. A smaller population of people live in Cyrenaica, primarily Benghazi and other coastal cities. The remainder of the population is found in the oasis town of the Fezzan. The vast majority of the rural population lives in oasis of the coast and is engaged in irrigation farming. Plots of the land are usually small and are held in individual ownership. On the Nafusa Plateau, however, where water is less readily available, a sophisticated agrarian system based on olive and fruit tree cultivation and associated livestock raising has evolved. Pre-modern economy was based on nomadic and semi-nomadic pastoralism. Arable farming has largely been an adjunct pastoral system with shifting dry land cultivation rarely entailing sedentary farming. The most common mode of life in rural Libya is sedentary cultivation. In the oasis, most farmers rely on irrigation and water is raised from shallow wells, either by the animal powered by electricity or diesel pumps. Libya's rate of population growth is among the highest in the North Africa. The influence of foreign workers into the country since the 1960s accounts for the part of this rapid growth, but Libya's annual rate of natural increase. In the the 20th century and into the early 21st century, death rates steadily declined to substantially below the world average, but birth rate remained relatively high. Libya's per capita income is among the highest in Africa. Oil revenues remain Libya's main source of income. At the beginning of the 21st century, oil and natural gas together accounted for most 3/4 of natural income and nearly all of the country's export earnings. Agriculture is limited by the environment and by the shortage of labor. Only about 1% of the total land area is cultivated, mostly on the Al-Jifara and Bans plains, and about 1/10 is irrigated, and an additional almost 1/10 of the land is pasture. Agricultural development by the land reclamation and irrigation is a government poverty. Cereal are the major crops throughout the country. Wheat is the largest cereal crop, although barley, which adopts well to different climate and soils, is also a chief cereal and remains a dietary staple. In addition, sorghum is raised in the Fezzan. Animal husbandry is important in the Cyrenaica, where the herds are raised on communal grazing land, Less than 1% of the land is covered by forestry. Petroleum was first discovered in Libya in the 1956 and near the Algeria border, and is Libya's most important mineral. Additional deposits have been located elsewhere in the city, including near Gaklems of the western border, Muzu in the southwest, and the Al-Fra oasis in the southwest. Exploitation for the new deposits has concentrated on Tripolitania and offshore, where a large field was discovered northwest of Tripoli in 1988. In September 1969, the monarchy of Idris I was overthrown and the constitution suspended in a military coup d'etat. In 1977, the 12-member Revolutionary Command Council formed after the coup was replaced by the General Secretariat of General People's Congress, with Colonel Muammar al-Gaddafi as a Secretary General. He signed the post in the 1997 but remained the de facto ruler of country and head of the revolution until he was forced from power by the uprising. Following the 2011 uprising, a transitional council made up of opposition figures assumed leadership. Multitude of military groups. After the overthrow of Colonel Muammar al-Gaddafi, Mustafa Abdul Jalil served for a year. He was followed by Muhammad Ali Salim, who served for 1 day. Then after Muhammad Galiyaf, and he served for 292 days. And he was followed by from National Front Party. Thereafter him, Ahmed Atgar, also served for 28 days. He was also followed by Abu Sahamain, who served for 2 years. All the above were from General National Congress. After all the above, they elected President of the House Representatives, and they included Abubakar Baila, who served 1 day, and after all, Libyans elected the Chairman of Presidential Council, and they include Fayez al-Sarraj, who served for 4 years and 222 days, and was followed by Mohammed al-Menf, who has now served for 78 days and is the current president of Libya.